Hey everybody, I'm Joel Wanasek with Unstoppable Recording Machine, and today we're going to dive into using automation to make your guitars and bass come to life in a metal mix. So I've got a Machine Head song here called Is There Anybody Out There? And we're going to assume that I've mixed the song, it sounds where I want it to sound, and all of my guitars and bass and everything is EQ'd. So we're going to focus really on volume automation and using it to bring out sectional dynamics and make things more or less exciting and tell a better story in the song. Now, I like to think about automation like a story, meaning if the whole song was static and flat across the track and nothing changed, you know, if you watched a movie like that, it would be boring. You'd wait for the climax and the movie would just end and you'd be like, all right, well, what happened? So try to think about like a movie, just like a song. You know, we want it to go up and down and sideways sometimes and create tension and release and create suspense and things like that. So it's very, very important to think about a song like that. You are leading the listener's emotions. And one of the most powerful ways we can do that, of course, is volume automation. So let's take a look. Let's have a listen here. I've got some stock levels. So I've got all of my guitars here. I've got quad guitars and some die bombs that are going to a guitar bus up here. And coming down here, I've got the bass low and the grit separated and going to a bass bus. So everything is kind of like ballparked, as we would say, in the correct volume where it should be. And then we're going to use automation to bring this track to life.
Out there, anybody listening to me? Is anybody else scared? The paranoia dropping to my knees. Does anybody feel lonely? Disconnected from the things I see.
So the mix sounds good, but there's a lot of dynamics in this song. So let's take it from the top and just kind of have a listen and see what needs to happen and automate as needed.
Out there, is there anybody out there? Come on, come on.
All right, so my first problem I have is we have a massive buildup in the beginning of this song. And then when we come up here to this main riff, it's got to hit harder. There's no vocals over it. I think the guitars need to be a little bit bigger. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to back off the rhythm guitars here and the bass a little bit in this buildup and then have them come in big with the rhythm here. Or sorry, with the riff. So let me back this up here, and I'm going to take down the bass guitar a little bit. I guess let's do each one by ear first.
Is there anybody out there?
Because we want the song to grow. If you think about it, you know, if you follow the mouse, it starts here, then we get bigger, and then the riff hits, and boom, we're at a certain level of energy. So let's bring it down a little bit. So I'm just writing some basic volume automation here, and all the way up to the break.
Is there anybody out there?
So we want it to be a little bit more exciting. So listen to the build.
Is there anybody out there? Is there anybody out there? Come on, come on.
So now this part coming up here hits a little bit harder, but we definitely need a little bit more of a lead in here on this harmonic part. So I'm going to just draw in a slight bit of automation volume, and because there's no bass, it's a cut off.
Come on, come on.
I'm going to crank the guitars on this riff a little bit. So let me get a good volume. Then we're going to copy and paste this till later in the song. All right, so there we go. I'm going to pull this back here. And so we got a little bit of a boost in the guitar. We're going to keep the bass flat because there's nothing interesting really going on in the bass other than it gets louder here.
Come on, come on. I was born as a bastard, no father, no man.
Now, if you really want to get eccentric with it, sometimes on these fills, we could give just a little bit more volume to the guitar because the drum transients fill up the harmonic thing, right? So let's just try giving it the slightest amount of volume automation and see if it makes it more interesting. And that gives us just that little bit of extra push of clarity that we want. So let's go find that riff again later, and it happens again here. And we're gonna copy and paste that automation that we just did to the guitars here and give the harmonic section a little bit of a boost to make it more interesting. All right, so now let's hear the verse.
No father, no master, a shadow in silence. I'm searching for answers. For adoption and left with no option. Another kid fostered to fest the forgotten. To look into these desperate eyes is to cast into the wretched I've.
Now the guitars feel like they're at a good volume here in the verses because they're not super loud, but they're not, you know, it doesn't need to be overly exciting. It just needs to get a little bit bigger in between it. But this part, the guitars seem to pop up a little bit because they're of the sustained note. So let's back them off and try to find a nice volume to let the tom fill kind of come up here and some of the strings that were just introduced.
Is there anybody out there?
And that gives us just a little bit of tension on the master. Now, I would usually bump up the entire master right here. Something I like to do on the bass is on the choruses, give it a little bit of a boost to make the chorus kick a little bit harder. So I'm going to boost up the bass, but I'm not going to adjust the guitar here because we have strings and vocals, which are more important than guitars. Let's have a listen.
Anybody listening to me? Is anybody else scared? The paranoia dropped me to my knees. Does anybody feel lonely? Disconnected from the things I see. Is there anybody out there? Anybody out there just like me? Choking on these words and I can't write.
That definitely rocks harder. Listen to the dynamic coming in from earlier in the verse and watch how the chorus grows. And again, we would be assuming we would throw on some master bus automation here, which isn't on yet, but it's irrelevant because we're talking about just guitar and bass automation right now.
Is there anybody out there? Anybody listening to me? Is anybody?
You see how that nice bass boost takes the chorus and really kind of gives it that excitement that a chorus needs. So let me go find the next chorus.
Is there any?
Boost that up, and the final one of the song.
Out there? Anybody listening to?
All right, so let's see here what else we got. There was some harmonics that I heard that I thought were a little bit loud and popping out in the chorus. Because again, in my opinion, on a poppier chorus like this that's radio, and this song did chart in the top 40 in active rock, you know, when you've got a radio chorus like this, you want people to pay attention to the vocals, not the guitar licks and things like that, because you want them to sing. It's going to pull out that little dee-dee-dee-dee on the guitar and bring it down ever so slightly so it doesn't pop out. It sounds more even. Let's hear it. We still want them to hear the notes, but just make it not crazy. That's a little bit smoother, more balanced. Let's go copy and paste that to the other chorus in the song here. And then there's one more at the end somewhere. It should be right around here. Now we got a big drum fill at the end of this chorus, and there's kind of a cool bass part. Let's hear it. We're going to turn that up. So I'm going to automate up the bass grit. So the low end isn't coming up anymore, but it pops out and it creates more suspense for the end of the part. Especially over that tom fill. Let's really make it extreme. We're gonna copy and paste that. And that's a lot more exciting. Okay, let's pull it back here to the second verse and see what we got. And the guitar is coming really big after that chorus. So the bass backs off a little bit, and the guitars are going to come up to make it more exciting, and it's going to build in a different way. We have a different section dynamic here. So listen to how this all plays into shape. We've got a nice big thrusted chorus that sounds bigger, but when we come back out, the riff is going to be more exciting there because there's no vocals, and it's going to pick up the vocals, but it's not going to sound bigger and thicker than the chorus because we don't have the bass guitar jacked. All right, now the second verse is going to go through the same thing that it went through before. Second verse is going to be like the first verse, so we're going to take this little guitar break here. We're just going to copy and paste that part to when it happens again. We've got the same automation written here in this section already, so let's hear it. It builds the same. Okay, now we got a drop, so let's see what we got.
My life like I'll die tonight. Dream like I'll live forever. Live my life like I'll die tonight. Dream like I'll live forever.
So we've got some awesome pinch harmonics. Let's turn those up. I'm going to copy and paste this. And then we're going to jack the bass up here to make this part really heavy and really thick. Guitars already sound really powerful, but we definitely need some more bass here. And we're going to really boost this doo-doo on the bass up a lot and see what happens. So let's see how big this part sounds now. Now listen how much heavier that sounds than when we take all the automation and we flatline it. And just to compare. The section goes from kind of weak and balanced and not, it's not taking any risks to really big and bold. All right, let's ride the end of the chorus here, and I think we have a riff. So we got the last chorus in this song. We've got these cool bass slides, so I'm going to turn these up a little bit to make these more interesting. Just give it a little bit more excitement. Copy and paste that to the other slides, because this only happens once at the very end of the song, so we might as well make it a little bit interesting because the listener has already heard these riffs and they're familiar with it, so we just want to make it a little bit more exciting. They've changed the drums here, and we want to just do little things to really pique that extra attention and make it more memorable.
Does anybody feel lonely? Disconnected from the things I see. Is there anybody out there? Anybody out there just
right, we got to come back here and turn up our guitars for this riff section again. All right, so we got 3 big hits here. Let's leave the volume of the low end of the bass the same, but let's turn up the attack of the bass a lot. Let's turn up the lead guitar, or sorry, the rhythm guitars here. Not that much. That bass just makes it extra punchy. And then we've got nice fade outs on the bass and guitars, and it fades out smooth and allows the song to breathe. So there you have it. There are some ideas that you can use just using volume automation to really take a song very quickly and give it some life and make your mixes less static. Again, it depends on the type of song you're doing, the importance of certain parts, how hard you want certain riffs to hit, how much bottom and thickness you want in a particular part. But automation is a really powerful weapon for you when you're mixing all types of music, and can be very powerful when you're mixing guitars and bass on heavy metal songs. Let me just edit in a closer here. Hold on, I need a drink. If you like this video, please click like and subscribe, leave a comment, and share. It'd be greatly appreciated. If you want to mix this song, head over to nailthemix.com. Click the link below. Oops. Let me try that again. Sorry. If you enjoyed this video, please click like, subscribe to our channel for more great mixing videos, and make sure to leave a comment and tell us what you liked, or, you know, where you're using auto... Try it again. If you enjoyed this video, please click like... If you enjoyed this video, please click like and subscribe to our channel for more... If you enjoyed this video, please click like and subscribe to our channel for more great mixing videos covering all sorts of great topics. If you want to really dive in and you want to mix this song here by Machine Head, please click the link below in the description. Thank you so much. I'm Joel Wanasek with Unstoppable Recording Machine.